Hey guys, it's Mark from Nerd News Now. I'm on the road in Irving, Texas at the Urban Convention Center for Dallas Fan Days presented by Fan Expo. I am in the middle of the World Tour Dragon Ball exhibit sponsored by Bandai. There is Saiyan, there's Super Saiyan, do you know what I'm saying? But hey, all around Dallas Fan Days, there's cosplayers, there's artists, there's vendors. We're going to talk to them, and we're going to have lots of fun at Dallas Fan Days here on Nerd News Now. When I first hit the floor at Dallas Fan Days in the Urban Convention Center in Irving, Texas, it was impossible to ignore the Dragon Ball World Tour sponsored by Bandai. With an impressive collection of statue figures and games, they had exclusive merchandise, giveaways, tabletop gaming, and video game tournaments all weekend. It was quite a treat. At over 2,000 feet, it was so big, it actually poured into part of the lobby of the Urban Convention Center. After being powered up to 9,000 by that Dragon Ball exhibit, I decided to walk the floor and check out some artists, vendors, and cosplayers. And here I have found one of my favorite artists, Jim Ferguson. Now, I've seen your work for years at shows. It is just a pop culture paradise here. How did you get started on the whole making a scene thing?
One night I was like, well, I want to start drawing again, and Die Hard was on TV, and I was like, well, I'll just draw Bruce Willis, like crawling through a air duct, and I did that, and somebody on Facebook saw it, and they're like, oh, that's cool, I'd buy something like that, and I was like, cool, it's for sale. They're like, no, something like that. So they're like, oh, draw Fight Club, and I'll buy that. So I drew Fight Club, they bought that. Somebody else was like, oh, draw this, and I drew that, and then eventually I ended up having 250 different pictures and from probably 100 different movies. So,
what is your most requested movie?
I get asked for Clue a lot. I need to do some Clue. I still haven't even done any. I have a bad habit of drawing the same movies I've already drawn. Like, I have like 9 different Jaws pictures and I want to draw another one.
I definitely think the Malakon flames down the side of my face. That should be in your queue somewhere. Well, you've got so many great pieces of art here. One of the best ways to collect it is through your Making a Scene books. You have 4 of those. People can find that either on JimFergusonMakingScene.com or through your Etsy store. If you have a favorite scene, favorite movie, favorite character, chances are he's already drawn it, and it's going to be awesome. So just check that out, JimFergusonMakingScene.com. Hi guys, I'm here on the floor, actually on the 3rd floor in the Urban Convention Center at Dallas Fan Days for Fan Expo Dallas. One of the things you can do is dress up like your favorite characters. I chose to go as myself this time, but there's a lot of cosplay groups here. So one of the big things you can do is find people of like minds, of like hearts, 2 hearts for Doctor Who. So I'm here now with 2 members of DFW Cosplay Gallifrey. How did this all get started?
So Cosplay Gallifrey has been an organization that's been going on, I believe, since 2009. It started at another local convention called Alcon, and it's just grown and exploded with members ever since. And always looking for more people to come and join the TARDIS that's bigger on the inside with our group. So one of those members that joined us on our journey is one of our 13th Doctor cosplayers, Mai, and she's a lovely job with it.
And one of the great things about Doctor Who is, especially for cosplay, there's been so many iterations over the years.
Right.
All different types of people can do it, but now there's finally a female Doctor. So
Right.
Specifically for you, what do you think of the new episodes so far with Jodie Whittaker?
I am delighted. When she unveiled herself to be the next Doctor, I was absolutely thrilled, and she has not failed in that mission to bring the spirit of the Doctor to a way that can relate to women as well. It's been really, really exciting. And I love especially that she made her own Sonic. She doesn't just sit back, she doesn't just do girly things, she is creating and exploring just like all the men.
And that was something that I appreciated, like watching the classic series of Doctor Who. Also, it really started with 2, with like having like a pen light basically, but 2 through basically 5 and a little bit of 6 creating their own sonic devices. So like the fact that we were coming back to a Doctor actually creating their own tool, their own sonic screwdriver, I thought was fantastic, rather than having the TARDIS just spit it out. But
Now
like the modern era.
And are there any doctors or characters that you need more of? Like, do you need me to go find a metal trash can, turn it upside down, and be a Dalek?
We are always looking for builders, people that are like artisans that can, really use their craft. We have actually different types of membership types in our group. So we have cosplayers, and we also have an artisan type of membership. We're always looking for those kind of folks. So if you can build a TARDIS, or you can build a Dalek, or a Cyberman, or help build costumes and other props, we are more than happy to have you and put you to work and make our group that much better.
And how can people get a hold of you?
CosplayGallifrey.com. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, I believe also. And you can always email us also, which is dfwcosplaygallifrey@gmail.com.
Well, for me, Doctor Who is one of the most fun fandoms out there. Everyone is very inclusive. It's an awesome thing. I'm going to go jump in the TARDIS and hit the floor for more stuff from Dallas Fan Days. Hey guys, I'm over in Artist Alley with Sam De La Rosa. You will definitely recognize his work from Venom, Lethal Protector. One of the favorite books that I've read in my childhood because those covers were so iconic. You worked on that miniseries, and Venom is just a character that you helped at the time to craft. What does it mean to you now that Venom is such in the forefront in Marvel?
Mark, I've always enjoyed Spider-Man as a little kid. So I like all the Spider-Man related characters. When Venom first came on the scene, in the late 80s, that immediately became my favorite villain. So I got to work on that costume as far back as 1984. Here he is in an issue of Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man and Alpha Flight. Black costume, 1984. But I am so glad that Hollywood liked this series enough to make a movie out of it. So I see a lot more interest and a lot more popularity for the character now that the movie is based on the series I got to work on.
And back then, the foil covers were like a real trend, and those are coming back now. But I just remember that's an iconic cover.
Yeah, a Hot Wheel car here. You see it on blankets, Mark. If I can reach into my pocket, I will show you that you can see it on a lot of wallets.
And I actually have one of those wallets.
Yeah,
I don't have it on me.
Toys. So I'm glad it's out there.
Now, what do you think has made Venom last in popularity so long, and especially like to where he's really one of the primary nemesis for Spider-Man?
Yeah, I just think that, there's so much contrast up against Spider-Man. Spider-Man is totally opposite. Venom is totally opposite of Spider-Man. And I think people were looking for something or someone with an edge, kind of borderline, Lethal Protector. So I'm glad to see that up on the big screen in theaters.
Well, this is again the Sam De La Rosa. You'll recognize the artwork from Venom, Lethal Protector. And it was a big influence on the Venom movie right now. So congrats to you, and we'll be back with more from the floor on Nerd News Now from Dallas Fan Days. All right, I was searching the floor for the best cosplayers. I found one of them. This is Greg, a.k.a. Doctor Strange, or is it Doctor Strange, a.k.a. Greg?
It can be either one.
Well, Greg, you put a lot of time and detail into this costume. What makes Doctor Strange someone that you wanted to put all this effort into?
Well, as a kid even, I'd watched the comics, but I'll admit that Doctor Strange wasn't one of the more mainstream comics at the time. And it was really the 2016 movie that got my interest. I mean, they did a brilliant job, I think, of bringing that character to life, and I just loved every bit of it. I loved the floating cape, or cloak of levitation, all of it. It was just, and that's kind of what got me turned on to doing Doctor Strange cosplay.
And how long did this cape take you to make?
The cape probably took close to a year because it was a trial by error situation. There really are wires that hold it into place, and you want the thinnest wires possible to make it less conspicuous how it's up there, but you don't want wires so thin that somebody bumps you into a con and suddenly, it's kind of looped over at an angle. So it was trial and error, so on and off to get it done. The cape itself actually has tiny little wires I sewed into the two things. First of all, it's a very light cape, and the reason for that is you want the appearance of floating. Hawkman can have wings that look like they're attached to him because they're not floating, they're just attached there. And if you have a heavy cape on, it looks like it's attached more than it looks like it's floating independent of you.
So what you're saying is when you dry clean it, it's light starch only?
Yeah, so, something like that.
And what do you think of the cosplay community of Dallas, specifically like these Dallas Fan Days and Fan Expo shows?
Dallas is one of my favorite places to come. I mean that seriously. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. It's a drivable con, but I love it. Texas cosplayers are the best. In fact, you've got the best cosplayer here in the world. Chelsea Gentry, to me, is the best cosplayer around. I've been in the Championship of Cosplay contest at C2E2, and I've been in the Masquerade at San Diego Comic-Con. I've seen the best in the world. And right here in Dallas, you've got the best. It's Chelsea Gentry.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor, for your time. Good luck exploring the Outer Realms.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm here in Artist Alley with Scott Hepburn. He has done art that you'll definitely recognize from Spider-Man and Deadpool. Scott, what makes Spider-Man and Deadpool the Cagney and Lacey of their generation?
The Cagney and Lacey, the witty repartee, the sexual tension, the need for validation, mostly from Deadpool. I think just no one's ever compared them to Cagney and Lacey before, but yeah, I think it's just a natural, they're the odd couple. Deadpool was created to be the juxtaposition to Spider-Man like 30 years ago, so I think it's just a natural peanut butter and jam of characters, you know?
And what do you think, like they're both super witty characters, so do you think they're always trying to constantly one-up each other, or do you think it just meshes really well together?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're both, yeah, exactly. Deadpool's wittiness is like intentionally a play on Spider-Man's wittiness, but yeah, Deadpool, his flavor of comedy is so much darker. They have a nice balancing act together, you know?
And now, you mentioned that balancing act, but now you're actually working on the current Deadpool series. Number 6 comes out in a couple weeks. How is it drawing just him without Spider-Man? Is there any differences?
No, it's great. I mean, I love Spider-Man. I love drawing everybody, you know. But Deadpool on his own it's a darker book. It's you know, it's still funny, it's still action, but there's a lot more heads getting chopped off, sort of. Yeah, it tends to go into more extreme Deadpoolness when he's on his own. And I think also just the title is intentionally skewed to an older demographic.
Yeah, so it's sort of just like going from a buddy cop show to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones with like fart jokes.
Yeah, well, yeah, that just sounds like a winner right there.
Sure.
Thanks so much for spending the time with us. Hopefully you're having a good Dallas Fan Days here in Irving, Texas at the Irving Convention Center. This has been Scott Hepburn. Check it out, Deadpool on shelves now. Well, guys, I've had a blast here at Dallas Fan Days in Irving, Texas, but my Uber ride is now here courtesy of Real Movie Toys and the Sci-Fi Museum of Dallas, Texas. So for Nerd News Now, this is Mark. See you next time.